introduce Kathleen Black. Well, thank you so much, Kathleen, for being here. As you all know, Kathleen Black is a founder, CEO, and an elite coach at Kathleen Black Coaching and Consulting. She is one of Canada's leading real estate coaches and trainers, delivering proven success techniques to agents and teams across North America. She's also the author of Top 1% Life. And her topic today is when, why, and how to successfully expand your team. Kathleen, please.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here with everyone today. I'm going to share my screen because I've got a lot to share, and I'd love to kind of get us started. And I know it's always, it's an amazing opportunity, right? To be on Zoom, to be connected with people all over the world, which, some of us get to do every single day now, which I'm so grateful for that. And I think it's always a great reminder, to take a deep breath in and out and kind of just, stay present in this space. Because I think what we just heard was so powerful with what was shared with the presentation. So I think it's nice just to kind of switch gears. We're going to switch gears a little bit because our previous speaker got to speak about my favorite topic in the world, which is energy, frequency, and mindset. And that's something I get to spend a lot of time, most of my time, in fact, working on. So it is, in fact, my absolute favorite. But today we're going to be talking about, I'm going to be talking about when, why, and how to successfully expand your team. Because what we find is when we expand as leaders, when we expand as people, our ability to be impactful increases, our want to be purposeful increases, and our ability to be of service also increases. And often this leads us to need more than ourselves, right? We need other people who want to work with us on powerful projects that I believe make a difference. So leaders are really important to us. They're special to us in our industry. And I would say that not just, you don't have to have a team to be a leader, right? We all have the ability to step into self-leadership. But today we're going to talk about how to use that self-leadership to set a positive example and be able to leverage and expand out with other people. There we go. If I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you before, I've spent a lot of time working one-on-one with top producers, with the top producing teams across North America. At this point, globally, we're doing a lot of work in Europe as well. And essentially, it's over 20,000 hours at this point, one-on-one, helping top producers or helping entrepreneurs, solopreneurs move into the team space. So it's something I love to do, but I think where it came from was that I've always really had this fascination, as a lot of people in the coaching space do, of what makes people tick. Why do some people go through great difficulty in life or adversity, and they can use that energy and kind of, I like to say, put it into a ball and use it to catapult themselves forward, whereas other people can really struggle. Why do some people take what happens to them and use it as the building blocks for an amazing life that inspires so many people, and other people become overwhelmed and they kind of lose that spark, or they lose that ability to see how powerful they truly are. So I'm very, very blessed, because what I get to do is I get to mirror back to other people like you, how amazingly capable you are, how powerful you are, how able you are to help other people and to build exactly the business that you want in life. So what I found is that business systems are actually pretty easy. Now, I know if you don't have business systems, you might say that that's not true. But if you asked me, what is easier? Is it putting the systems in place, or is it helping to prepare the leader to do the implementation? I would say every single time it's preparing the leader. What we believe in leadership is going to be mirrored in how we build our teams. It's also going to be mirrored in the obstacles we face or the obstacles we don't face. So there's a lot of myths when it comes to team building. I'm going to talk about some of them today. But essentially, I've led 2 different coaching teams, one which was the first team-specific coaching team in Canada, in order to try to help people expand using less time, less energy, less money, less frustration. And what we found is that it takes a lot of different tools. So I've spent, at this point, much, much more than 100,000, probably a couple of 100,000 or more, investing in tools and certifications so I could help our clients expand, which includes things like disc personality profiling, NLP, a whole list of other things that we have done. So that's kind of my background, to put it simply. 80% of our clients are top 1% producers nationally. But the misconception sometimes when people, when I have the chance to connect with lovely people like you, sometimes there's a misconception that we only work with existing teams. And this is true for some teams in the team coaching space. Some of them say, get to a certain level and then come and work with us. That has not been our journey. I'm going to give all of you a free gift today. And that gift is a book I wrote because I wanted to be able to build a bridge back to when I first started coaching. Because when I first started coaching, I was coaching with top producers, individuals. Maybe it was a husband and wife. Sometimes it was a husband and wife, marketing support, but they weren't the big teams yet. Some of the bigger teams, I put onboarding systems in place for them, but they weren't as structured as we see them today. And I think that's a really powerful thing to remember, that a lot of the big teams that we see thriving today, they built step by step, but they started out as an individual. So I'm going to give you a gift to help with that journey. But here's some things that I want you to consider or have on your radar when it comes to expanding into a team. And then I'm going to give you some tangibles because we only have a certain amount of time together today. So first, I want you to consider, when building a healthy, thriving, and profitable team, what to consider when building a healthy, thriving, and profitable team that's ready for the industry now, but also where we're going in the future. There's at Ultimate Team Summit, I shared, the 6 key forces or dynamics or factors that are playing into the ultimate expansion teams right now. Real estate used to be very traditional. It used to be very straightforward, right? I helped a buyer buy a house. I help a seller list and sell their house. It was very, what I like to call, one-dimensional. It's no longer the case, right? There are so many different factors like technology and marketing and leverage and, net money versus gross income, average production per agent. There's so many things that actually are very beautifully interconnecting or synergizing, so we could say, to allow us to kind of morph into these extremely powerful hubs that we call teams, but they're actually doing real estate in some very unique ways. So there's a lot more that goes into it, and I want you guys to know exactly what to consider so you can build yourself a powerful team as well. I want you to know the top team building mistakes and how to avoid them. I'm going to give you an opportunity with your phone to use a QR code so you can take a whole report from me, because just to tell you those mistakes would take me about an hour, and I don't have that, but I know you need them. So I'm going to give you some extra gifts today to make sure you have those resources. How to go from being a top producer to a team leader. It's a totally different role, right? It can get really frustrating, but what ends up to be highly frustrating is that a lot of team leaders end up either never paying themselves for their role or not setting their business up to allow them to. So they have to be really disruptive to get to a place where, as leaders, they're compensated properly. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to work for a team that has an unhealthy culture. I definitely don't want to work for a team where the team leader doesn't have a vested interest in my success, both because they're making money for it, but also because it's part of their business model. It's actually extremely important. How to assess the actual role of team leader versus that of a top producer. How are they different? And compensate your efforts in alignment with that. And the power of leveraging what I call pinch years. Anybody who's built any business from scratch will know what pinch years is. They'll at least have a good guess of what I'm alluding to. If you haven't and you're looking to build a team, you want to lean into pinch years. And I'm going to tell you why, because typically when you go to build and you're still selling, people kind of tap out because they feel like it's too hard or something's wrong. They don't know which pieces to put in place to give themselves relief. So they just feel like they're constantly underwater. And I don't want you to go through that. So I want to give you a sense of what the pinch years are going to be. So this year gave us a ton of tension. And, gave us some fear. It gave us some difficulties. It hurt some people's hearts, that's for sure this year. Some people really struggled this year. And I have a lot of reverence for that. And I think we need to. I think this year also called us, it was a call of arms, so to speak, as leaders, to say, we've been preaching a lot of things for a long time. We've been doing events. I've been doing events in the industry now, 13, 14 years, speaking at events. And now we have the storm, right, that we've talked about for so long. And I think it was a beautiful opportunity for us to really reflect on how we're showing up in difficulty or struggle or tension. And in our industry, we really saw the leaders who walked out into those storms, right? Who didn't necessarily have all the answers, but they wanted to be present. They wanted to create focus, which I think we needed in the industry this year, and they wanted to create support. Tension is a very, very powerful entity. It can be your absolute best friend, or it can be your worst enemy. For leaders, tension is going to call us to attention on the things in our business that we need to hyper focus on. It's going to call our attention to the weak spots as well as the strengths. And it is so absolutely needed for us to build what's possible. So if you're kind of hoping, wishing, for things to go back exactly as they were, I would say, if this tension really got your attention, again, if it really, caused you to look at things a little bit more in depth, that is a very powerful force. And it's something that's worth investing into, because when we have tension, we, again, pay more attention and we have an awareness of the opportunities that are actually in front of us. If we are in fear, we're blinded. In fear, I can't see clearly. But if in tension, I can look directly and say, where can I have an impact? Where can I help? Where can I make a difference? That's going to help you, whether you're building an individual business or you're building a team. And I don't know about you, but this year I was so thankful for the tension, because it got people to act. It got people to get a bullseye, to have a direction, and to act swiftly in regards to meeting that direction. And that's invaluable for all of us. So tension's not something that we want to always push aside. Tension can be really, really positive for us, and it can allow us to make change very quickly compared to an environment where tension was not present. With training, tension's one of my best friends. With coaching, tension is what gets us to get massive projects done when we didn't know we had the time, the energy, or the resources to complete it. And in team building, tension is what's going to push you through to allow your business to break. And stay with me for a second. Allow your business to break, because when you allow the pieces to break that need to, that, you're having problem after problem and frustration after frustration, let it break. And then tell yourself, okay, I'm going to make it better, but I'm only fixing it once. Right? I'm not going to have this same problem that typical agents have again and again and again in my business. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to see what I can do systematically and with a process to fix this, but I'm going to do it once. That's the difference between a top 1% mentality and a 98 or 99% mentality. 98 or 99 are facing life as it comes to them. Right? They're walking in every day and new problems pop up, or the same problems pop up, and we're just facing them and trying to solve them. Top 1% is saying, I have finite, limited amounts of energy, of time, of money, of enthusiasm. I only have so much of it. So I want to make sure that I'm using it strategically in the right places. That's going to allow me to work on new problems. That's going to allow me to build what I'm really excited about and I'm dreaming about. And tension's going to allow us to do that. In my book, I talk a lot about, we'll call it screw this moments, because that's not the real word and they didn't let me use it. But screw this moments are when you get so frustrated, you're like, never again. And I love when that happens with myself and with our clients that we serve, because that's when they make powerful changes. That's when they get serious and they actually build a strong, capable business. So tension's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's going to push us forward. You can make the best machine of a business you want. Eventually, if you're lucky, you're going to grow that business enough where that machine's going to break. And you're lucky, because that means you took it to its limit and now you're going to improve it. That's a beautiful place to be. So I'm not going to read this out, but I think it's important. I just talked about, call to arms. I talked about tension and paying attention and direction. And as a company, it's really important for me as a speaker, as somebody supporting you right now, hopefully, it's really important for me to let you know my target. So I'm really transparent with that. I have never, ever really cared about building teams, right? That's not my main thing. What I care about is helping leaders become certain, helping leaders become confident, helping leaders become aligned with who they are and what's important to them so they can be of service. And once they become aligned and certain and confident, they become powerful. And powerful people can use our systems in order to create the most efficient, productive, and profitable teams in the world. That's what we do, housed in performance cultures. So I'm not looking just to help you guys, okay, I've got a couple agents, I have a team. No, do we have an efficient, productive, and profitable team? And is it housed in a performance culture? Are we powering people up to use those systems? Systems are worthless without the people powered up to use them, unless you're leveraging technology. And even then, some parts of your business still need that people factor, right? So really important at this point, the work to help people focus on efficiency, production, and profitability is worth billions in additional sales volume every single year. These are really powerful tools if we know how to implement them. This is an example, my first gift I'm going to give to everybody. Last year, I wrote the book, The Top 1% Life, moving from chaos to calm in your business and life. It's not just a business book, it's business and life for sure. And it takes you through the exact strategy that I've been using for, over a decade now to support people, as I said, in initially becoming clear and confident and aligned so they could build the business that they're capable of building. They were always capable of building it. They just didn't necessarily see that. And they didn't necessarily see the vision of the business 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years from now. And I need them to know that vision, because I think we all know there's a big difference in, trying to drag somebody into the future versus them feeling compelled and excited and pulled into the future. When they know what they want their life to look like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, I can help them build the business to make that happen. But if they don't know what it looks like, I'm going to be dragging them along and I'm going to get frustrated. They're going to think that I'm, way too intense, and they're going to tap out. That doesn't work. So we always start with aligning their vision, shifting mindset. The top 1%, again, are not focused just on getting into action. We're focused on